Thank you, Jaeger, and hello, everybody. Today we are going to walk through the process of creating a TeamCity plugin from scratch. I will actually walk you through some of the documentation that we have for plugin development, and we will develop a basic plugin that does something, create some files, and extend TeamCity at the UI to display the results as well. So at the page that you're looking at right now, it's the plugins.jetbrains.com. This is the home for all the plugins for the IDEs of JetBrains and the team tools as well. And you will find the development guide for the extensions, specifically TeamCity extensions. This is what we are interested right now. So if I click on that, I will actually get a brand new looking documentation website for plugins, for TeamCity plugins. And today we are going to develop a small plugin that will be extending TeamCity on the server side as well as on the agent side. And let's see what we have here. I will be walking through the documentation and making the first steps for creating the plugin as well. So if you want to develop a new plugin, there is a ton of good resources that you can find here in the documentation. First of all, of course, the API documentation is right here, linked from this documentation page. You will find also a sample plugin. In many cases, what you would like to do actually is to find some existing plugin to see how something is implemented, and then it's easier to come up with your own solution. Here we also will find the quick start guide. So getting started with plugin development, or on the left-hand side, we also have the same link. And here you will find a step-by-step guide creating a simple plugin for the server side. So it doesn't actually include the agent side extension. However, we are going to develop a slightly more sophisticated version of the plugin this time. So what is interesting for getting started here is developing plugins using Maven. In fact, on the landing page, the quick start section actually tells you about the getting started guide, and as well as it links to the plugins for Gradle and for Maven. So Gradle plugin is actually a third-party plugin. Let me open the page for you. It's the third-party plugin. It's very sophisticated, very configurable. You can use it to develop TeamCity plugins with Gradle. And in fact, a lot of the plugins that are developed at JetBrains, here is the list, some of them are actually developed with this plugin. So if I navigate to some of them, you will see that it's actually an official JetBrains plugin here at GitHub. And in this list, probably half of the plugins are actually by JetBrains, and they are using this third-party plugin for Gradle. Okay, and the other one is actually the Maven plugin. So if you prefer using Maven, as I am, then this plugin is for you. So what we need here is to define a few dependencies in our pom.xml, but it's actually much easier to get started by generating some kind of an empty plugin and start adding new things into there. So Maven archetypes is what we are looking for here. And there are 3 archetypes available right now. A sample plugin, a server plugin, and TeamCity plugin, which is an empty plugin, both for agent and the server. So we are going to use that one to generate a new project, and we will start adding new functionality in there. So let me copy this command line right here, and I will paste it to, actually I have already pasted it here in the command line. So what I should look for is the artifact ID. So that's the one I want to use. That's the TeamCity plugin, and important one also is the TeamCity version, right? So I'm developing the new plugin for TeamCity 18.2. So I hit the button here. It will ask me a few questions like group ID, JetBrains.TeamCity, and then let it be TeamCity Echo. So the plugin I will be developing will be just a small plugin that executes an echo command and transfers the results back to the server. It's a very simple one, and but it will be just demonstrating the essential pieces that we need to create our new runner. So it's going to be one of those snapshots. The package is okay for me, and seems I have created my configuration. All right, so I have a cd TeamCity.echo, and there are a few modules created. So it's a multi-module Maven project that I have right now. And let me open it up actually. So open, and I have a new project right here, new window. All right, so we have a new empty plugin project in our IDE, and we have 3 modules in our project: the server side, the agent, and the common module that could be reused. It's basically for the classes that could be reused in both, in agent and the server. It's good for sharing the constants, for instance, if you have different, if you have an ID, for instance, that you want to be used in agent and the server, and you don't want to type them in strings and to make sure that they are written in one place, the common module is for that. So, okay, we want to develop a runner. So let's turn back to our documentation, actually. What are the typical plugins that we have here? So there is a list. And under that list, we have the build runner plugin, for instance. That's one of the type, one type of the plugins that you can develop. Of course, you can develop your own trigger, integration with some version control system, create your own notification, create your own custom notifier, for instance, and so on. But we are going to create the build runner plugin today, and let's see what's inside. So the runner plugin would consist of 2 sides, right? The server side and the agent side. So we have it in our project already. And the very first step basically here is to read the documentation, of course. So it tells me that the entry point for the server-side plugin is a class that would extend a run type. So I basically need to create my own run type and register it within run type registry. So let's do that. Let me open up the package right here. I have some class here, but I don't really like the name right now. So let it be echo service, and no, it should be echo runner actually, echo runner, because we are developing a runner, and it should extend the run type. Of course, we need to implement it. We will need to implement all the methods that are listed here, and we actually need to register it within the registry, right? So let me run type registry. So the beans or the classes that we are creating here, to register them within TeamCity, and to say that this is the new entity that basically extends the functionality of TeamCity or offers something new, we need to register it as a bean, as a Spring bean, and TeamCity is a Spring application, in fact. So under the resources folder, there is a build server resources directory. By convention, it should be there, and we also have a meta-inf directory where the Spring configuration is. So we already have our new bean or new class that implements the run type. So let it be echo runner, and that will be echo runner class. Okay. So since it's a Spring bean now, I can actually look up for the dependencies. So let me generate the constructor, and that constructor will actually ask for how was it called? The runtime registry. This is something that we need to register our type in. So registry register run type this, and I will also ask for the plugin descriptor class. Descriptor. We are going to use it later for looking up the resources from this resources folder. All right. So I probably just need to save it as a field. Yep. So I have it as a field now. Now let's turn back to the documentation. So the documentation tells us that there should be a type. So every run type should have a type. That's exactly what we have on the next line in our source code. So it should return some kind of a type. It could be, let's say, echo runner type. And since it's a constant, it could actually be extracted into an interface, maybe. Let's say echo constants runner type. So I wouldn't type a string in here, and I would create a new class with a constant. String could actually be an interface, but well, it's fine. Interface, and don't need this. Okay, so the display name could as well be just a string echo runner. Then we have a description. Let's say it's just, this is my echo runner. Then we have a processor, properties processor. So if we check in the documentation again, when the form is submitted, then an instance of the properties processor that is returned by getRunner properties processor is called, meaning that we will use this instance that returns from this method for validation, for input validation. And for now, we just implement some dummy validator in here. Let me check. So properties processor is an interface with one method. So basically, it's a functional interface. We can just implement it like this, and it should return a collection of invalid property instances. So return new lists. No. So a list of invalid property list and new array list like this. So it's just a dummy right now, but we'll populate this list with validation errors a little bit later once we have something to validate, actually. Next, we need to return two files, or the path to the two files that we are going to use to render the settings for our runner on the server side. So to do that, actually, we need to use the plugin descriptor that we injected through Spring, right, through the constructor. Get resource path, and then echo. One is for the edit and the other one for the view, so let it be edit echo properties, no, parameters.jsp, and the other one will be basically the same, but for the view, for viewing, actually, view. Okay, and we are going to create those two files as well, just not to forget. So let me create a file right here under build server resources, and we will create another one for the view. Okay, so those are empty files right now. Let me just type something so that it doesn't look so lonely and so empty, and we don't need the example JSP right now from here. And let's go back to the runner. So the very last thing that we need to implement is the default runner properties, but they can just stay empty for now, and we need nothing here. So we have our very basic runner type on the server side right now. We have implemented the run type, we have injected the registry, and we have registered ourselves in that registry. We also have a reference to the plugin descriptor for referring to the resources, which should be located under build server resources folder. And now we can actually proceed to the agent side. Oh, I actually extracted also the echo constants. So, and I created it within the same module, I think. So since it's the constants interface, and those constants will be shared between the agent and the server, I can actually move it under the commons module. Why not? All right, so now it's under the commons. Okay, so let's go to the agent side. Currently, it's also empty. There is some class which is empty, but let's check the documentation again. So the server side is done. Let's see the agent side. So the documentation tells me that there are three classes that are important right now. Command line build service factory that should be registered within the Spring context. And then it needs to return a command line build service implementation, and that one will return a type and an agent build runner info. So we'll start with the factory first. Let me create that. So echo factory should implement command line build service factory, implement the methods, and this class should be registered within the Spring context. So here we have a Spring configuration, bean id echo factory, and the class and echo factory. Okay, done. So now we also need a new service. So new echo service, And we just create the class here and implement the methods, or actually it should be not the command line build service, but we can check what are the implementation. And as a matter of fact, there is a build service adapter, which is mentioned in the documentation. Let's check that. Yep, build service adapter that could be used as a base for our implementation. So build service adapter. So we're going to use that instead. It's going to implement just one. Yeah, it's going to implement just one method here to actually execute a command line that we want to be executed on the agent side. So let's go back to the factory. So we have a echo service, and we need to implement the build runner info, agent build runner info class as well. That should be returned from this get build info runner class, new agent. So there is a type that we need to use. That's the same type that could come from the constants, if I remember correctly. No, constants, get runner type. And the other method validates whether or not the build could be started on a specific, for the specific agent configuration. And for now, we just say true, that it could be started anywhere. All right, so we have a service, and we need to create a command line that will be executed. So we are creating an echo service. So from properties, what are properties? Get runner parameters, get, and we need some kind of a parameter to refer to, so we could create a new name for that parameter in the constants class, echo constants, let's say a message. So we are going to echo a message, so it will be a message key, and create a constant. So let it be echo message key, and let's extract it into a variable, of course. And we need to create a new command line instance, program command line instance, and let's see what are the implementations. So there is a simple command line, simple program command line class that we can use for that. So new simple program command line. So what we need here is a build runner context, get runner context. We also will need an executable path. So let's hard code it for now. Echo bin echo. So that's the executable we want to run. And we also need a list of arguments. So it's going to be something that's going to be that message, but we need to wrap it into a singleton list or into a list. So arrays as list message, right? And the ID actually will help me to convert it a little bit. Okay. So just the 3 parameters that I needed. And basically I have an executable command here for the echo on the agent side. I'm not sure if I implemented everything right now, but we can check. When I created the plugin from the archetype, it actually created me the POM file with the pre-configured SDK plugin for Maven, TeamCity SDK Maven plugin. So to configure it actually completely, I need to provide a path to my TeamCity installation right here, users, Anton, servers, TeamCity. I know it by heart. And it's actually a good idea to point or to specify a data directory, which will be, say, which will reside within the same project. So POM baster and let's say data. So this is where all the configurations and plugins will be stored. So using this plugin, we can actually start up TeamCity instance for like our local instance of TeamCity, clean for development, and this is what we are going to start right now. So let me check from the Maven window here. So lifecycle, in the lifecycle, I need to package it first. So I will package my plugin right now. The build is running, doesn't take too long. So it created a new plugin or a new distribution. That's just a zip file. And what I need to do now is to locate the plugin, the TeamCity SDK plugin in Maven window and hit start. So once it starts for the first time, it actually starts an empty TeamCity instance. So it's going to take some time to set it up, and we will have to wait, unfortunately. Okay, so we can open the browser and navigate to localhost 8111, which is the default port. And since we are starting it with a clean data directory, it actually will ask us to run the configuration process for the first time. I'm going to use the internal database. So it's going to take a minute or two maybe. And while it's happening, let's check into the documentation again. So we have an agent side of the plugin already implemented, kind of a basic one. We have implemented the command line build service factory, registered it as a Spring Bean, and we also return the build service adapter where the actual job is going to be performed. This is where we are going to run our echo command. Let's see, TeamCity is still starting. Okay, so besides creating just an agent side part of the runner, you can actually extend some of the existing plugins, like the Ant runner that is already bundled in TeamCity, but you can create your own extension. As well as you can see, there are some guidance for intercepting the logs and dealing with the artifacts and creating the reports. So you can create some of the report formats are already implemented in TeamCity. So you can just write some of the reports in the predefined format, and they will be processed by TeamCity automatically. Let's see. Okay, so it asks for the license agreement now. So that's probably the last step. Oh yeah, we need to create a first user, of course. So admin, not going to bother about the about creating too secure password right now. So, and now we have the first, now we have the instance running. So Anton, save changes. Since it's an empty TeamCity instance, and I want to check my runner, of course I need to create the first project. So my project, and need also a build configuration for that. Build, and I don't need any of the VCS routes for now. I just want to create a runner. So I proceed to the build steps and create a runner, and should be able to find the echo runner in here. So that's the description or the name that I have specified in my runner class. So echo runner. So the display name is echo runner, and that's what I found in the list. Okay, and I don't have anything else here. I need to implement the view actually for editing it. And well, the view is displayed right here. Remember, we had an edit text in that file. So let me check now. We have two GSP files that we need to implement. So one is the edit form. I'm too lazy to actually type everything, so I'm going to just copy and paste something from the previous project. So the constants are with a little bit different name that I have. Echo constants. Echo constants. And what do I have? Message key. Okay. So essentially there is just one field. The settings group will contain just one field where I will specify what kind of message should the echo service at the agent side display, right? So now I have changed the file, and I have the plugin already deployed actually, but the plugin, the SDK plugin, allows me to reload the resources if I changed only the resources. So let's check how it works. So I hit this goal right now. I hope it will just reload that single file, and I will not need to restart the server. So let me check again. So build server, echo runner. Hey, so I have a section which says that it's my runner settings, exactly as it is in the GSP file, and then there is one field, right, which is we indicate that it's mandatory, and but to actually make it mandatory, we have to validate it, right? So currently, if I just specify some kind of a text here, it just saves. It doesn't validate anything. So we can now implement the validation, and if it's mandatory, it shouldn't be empty, right? But it's still possible to save it. All right. So let's check how can we implement the validation right here. So remember, there was a runner class where we specified some dummy logic already for the validation, the properties processor. And this is where we should check for the properties, like properties, and ask for the key, and that's going to be the echo constants and message key, and then we should validate the value that we get from there. In fact, I have it already implemented, of course, and I'm not going to spend time writing it. Lists. So we get the message, the value of the message from that configuration, and then if it's a null, then we say that it shouldn't be a null. And if it starts with some kind of a string that I don't want to be there, fail, then it tells me that it shouldn't start with fail. Now I have modified Java code, and it's still on the server side, but I have to run the build for it to actually see the results package. So I need to create a new archive, new zip. And then I can hit the reload goal from the SDK plugin to reload the plugin and not to restart the server because it will consume something here. Let's see. So I hope it's already reloaded. And if interesting, it did not reload. A build runner plugin echo runner type used by the build step is not loaded or not installed anymore. Okay, let's check the plugins list. So plugins. Interesting, the plugin is there. So the plugin is there, and probably I should restart the server, but I think I shouldn't actually. So it displays the build. Let me check again. So for me, so there is a build step. So previously it was a correct one, and once I only changed the configuration right here. So I didn't change anything else. And for some reason, instead of the display name, it shows me the runner type. That's funny. Okay, let me just restart the server. Maybe we'll clean everything, and so I will repackage it again, and I will stop again. So it's gonna take a minute. Sometimes it happens. Maybe some caches were not cleaned up or anything else. Okay, so I'm going to start the server. Stopping the agent. Okay, start it again. Okay, so it's going to take a minute. Meanwhile, while it's starting, let's check what kind of other typical plugins that we have here. So the build runner plugin is what we are working on right now. And test reordering is a very interesting plugin. So whenever you have a list of tests in your project, and then it takes some time to run those tests, and imagine that the very last test actually would fail. So for the next run, it would make sense to run that test first instead of waiting for 10 minutes. So this functionality depends on the build tool and on the test framework as well. So, and TeamCity implements some of that, but for some of the build tools, like for Maven, for instance, it still needs implementing. So it's a good candidate for implementing a new plugin. Then a custom trigger could be implemented as well. There is a bunch of different triggers in TeamCity already, but maybe you need some kind of an exotic one. So why not creating a new one? And if we check the documentation, there is actually a source code for URL trigger plugin. So you can check that as a reference. If we open that up, let me check. Yeah, so there is like a wiki page that describes the plugin, and you can find the sources for the plugin here as well. So it's a good reference for you if you want to implement your own trigger. Okay, let's check what's happening with TeamCity right now. Okay, it's probably running already, but it didn't tell me. Okay, admin. Let's check the plugins list. So what do we have in there? Plugins list. We have TeamCity Echo plugin is running. So let's see the build configuration. And still the build step is not there. That's funny. That's funny. Build runner plugin Echo runner type used by this build step is not loaded or not installed anymore. I wish I could check it from somewhere why it wasn't loaded. Should be logged somewhere. So let me check the data folder. Oh, that's too much. That must be some kind of an obvious mistake that I've made. Let me see. So the message key is there. Oh, the plugin on the agent side. So maybe I haven't validated that one. So under the resources, did I register it? Yes, I did. But I didn't.
Hey.
I think I should have specified. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have specified a constructor here.
I just wanted to provide some suggestions. I think if it looks like it's the server-side part of the plugin which doesn't work, so we probably should leave agent side as it is now and check what's wrong with the server side. Maybe there are some messages in the TeamCity server log. Maybe there's some exception which occurs during when we try to load the plugin.
Server logs. So there are a lot of logs actually. You mean the Catalina log?
No. It's a TeamCity server log. TeamCity server. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that's the one.
So during the startup, TeamCity writes what plugins it loads, and if it can't load something, it should write about it.
So there was an exception actually. Oh, Echo report tab is not found. Of course, I did not add the report tab. But,
okay. I'm not sure this is the cause, but if we can easily fix it.
Let me see what's on the server side. No, it's not. It's definitely not the cause right now. It happened much earlier. So must be something else.
Then I would also check, so this Maven task, which performs a reload, it probably places the zip file under the TeamCity data directory plugins.
Then we have a data directory right here under the plugins. We have TeamCity Echo.
And what is inside? Maybe can it be that the zip is empty or something like this?
Okay, let's open Reveal and Finder. Oh,
So there is no server-side part.
of course. Okay. So we need to package it again, basically. So let's remove this one and package it again. Okay, and just call reload. Okay, so maybe should validate it before actually proceeding. That's strange. It only contains the agent side still.
Let's just check what happens when you just call package without reward.
Package. And that's pretty short. It should have mentioned the server plugin. Now it's only, oh no, it does. But it definitely looks weird. So let's actually run it from the command line mvn clean package. So this is how it should look like.
Yeah, it did something. Yeah.
So now it looks correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's much better, I guess. The size is still quite small, I think.
I think we probably should check.
No, exactly.
Okay.
The server is okay. So now it's correct file, and we should have the correct values in our build runner as well. Edit settings. Yeah, so now we have a build step with the echo runner. So you just had a nice session of troubleshooting what could go wrong with the plugins when you're not building them correctly. So we have an echo runner, and we have this message right here. Remember, we were implementing validation, so the message is mandatory right now. And if I save it, it tells me that it should be null. And if it starts with failure, for instance, should not start with fail. Okay. This is my message. That's the correct one. So now we can actually execute it and see what will happen. We have an agent side of the plugin. We have a server side of the plugin. We have everything pre-configured. So why not to run it now? Should not take too long. And we can check the build log right away and see what happened in there. So we only have one step with the echo runner. And exactly, this is the message that I wanted to execute. And it was executed. So now we have a fully functional runner plugin that echoes something. Imagine if our plugin actually would create a result, create a file, create a report, and you would like to display that report somewhere as well. So for the next part, I would like to extend the results of the build with a custom tab and display the results right there. But I will have to create the results as well. And before doing so, I wanted to show a few other things. So in the edit configuration, when we look at the list of the build steps here, we can see our build step, the echo runner, but we don't see the message that we want to echo at the agent, right? So it would be very comfortable, especially if we have multiple build steps, to actually show what is the message that is going to echo right in the list. So there is one method that we just need to implement to make it happen. It's called describe parameters. And well, it's just a custom string that we need to produce here, message, and parameters get, and that should be the message key that we use as a key for this parameter. Okay, so next time we reload the plugin, we should see the description. Another thing that I wanted to add here is, well, we have two views for editing and for viewing. And for viewing, we don't need like a form, we just need to print out the values. And normally it's visible in, let's see, where is that? No, it's right here. Overview in settings. So here, right? So there's a echo runner, and this is the dummy view that we have right now. So it's only the view text that we display here from that file. So to implement that functionality, we need to populate our GSP file a little bit. Same as before, I just copy and paste from somewhere. So let me use the echo constants and the message key. So it's going to display the very same message basically as we have it in the description for the build step. Okay, so now we have modified the JSP and we have a new method that describes the parameters. So let's repackage it again. That looks suspicious again. Maybe we will break the plugin, but let's try it anyway. Okay, so it's reloading. And if we go back, check the settings. So, okay, it seems we have broken the plugin again. So it seems have to run the build from the command line instead of the plugin. Clean and package. At least we know what, if it's broken, then we know why it's broken. Okay, and reload the plugin again. So what we are doing right now is just adding some cosmetics to our plugin. Let's see. Okay, the message is still empty, or what? Shouldn't have been empty. Okay, let's check the configuration. And echo runner. This is my message. Okay. So something is wrong with my JSP here. Empty value, message key, message ID. Well, anyways, let's keep this one for now. And actually, what we wanted to do now is to make the agent side to produce some sort of a result. Let's say it will be a file, and then we are going to transfer that file to the agent to the server side and display it in a tab as a report. So we go to the agent echo service. What I want to do here is to basically execute the same command, but pipe the result of this echo command into a file. Normally, it would be okay to write this kind of a command, right? Echo, then message, and pipe it to some file, let's say echo txt. But in our case, this value is actually a path to executable. So if we execute it like this, the command will fail, saying that there is no binary at this path because, well, message and echo.txt is not part of the path. And if we pass in those values as arguments, then they will be escaped with quotes, and what will happen is that echo command will just echo them. So we will not be able to actually pipe the result into the file. So to work around it, we need to actually execute a script, not just a command from the command line, but a script. And to do that, we need to write this script string that we want to execute into a temporary file, and then execute it and delete the file. I have it already implemented, so I will not write again. So let me explain what's in there. So we are going to take the message pretty much the same way as it was, and then compose a string for that script that we want to execute. So it's going to be echo a message, and it's going to pipe into echo.txt. The rest of the logic here basically just composes creates a temporary file, sets the executable bit, and then cleans it up once the command is executed. So it's not important to check the logic right now. And what we needed here, we just create a script, we execute it, and then we form pretty much the same simple command line, simple program command line instance that is going to take care of it. So once we execute this command, we are going to have an echo.txt as a file, well, as a result, right, with a single line message in there. So to display that in our tab in TeamCity, it would make sense to declare this file as an artifact. So we can say that, okay, whatever txt files we produce are going to be declared as artifacts. And now we need a place to display the file that we just produced at the agent side. And obviously we display it on the server side. So the new extension that we need to create is going to be on the server side. And we need to look up for the web UI extensions for that. So if you are looking for a place in your UI where you want to display something, it's going to be, well, you can find it here, either a project tab, or it should be a build configuration tab or something else, right, at the login page. So I want to display the results at the build tab. So I need to implement a new type. Let's put it into a separate package, actually, web, and it's going to be a new echo report class that is extending the build tab. No, maybe it implements build tab. Interesting. No? Okay, let me verify from my previous implementation, actually. So report, echo report. So that's the build tab exactly. So Oh, I'm for some reason I'm creating it at the agent side. Sorry. So it should be on the server side, of course. Package. We are going to put it under the web package and put it so report tab, echo report tab, and it's going to be a build tab, right? So it's implementing just one method, I think, and it needs a constructor. So just to save some time, I'm going to copy and paste it from, no? No, I'm just going to paste it from my previous implementation. So it's a simple one. So there is not much code. What we need here is to, okay, need some different name for that one to match. All right, so we are injecting the web controller manager through Spring. So we need to declare this this implementation as a Spring Bean as well. Let me go and do that. So bean ID report tab and class echo report. All right, and it's going to refer at the resource echo report.jsp. Let me copy that from here as well. Echo report.jsp. So I'm just going to copy it to save some time, and that is going just to display the text from the file that we would receive from the artifact that we just produced on the agent side. And then we fill the model like for that GSP, right? And what we are doing here is we asking for the artifacts from the API that we have here. As build is the server-side model of the build, and we are asking for all the artifacts that are declared by the user. So all user published artifacts. So basically all the files that are matching start.txt in our case. And then from those artifacts, we are going to find an artifact with the specific name that we hard-coded on the agent side, echo.txt. And then doing some validation here if the artifact is available or not, and reading the file through the input stream and setting it into the model. And this way, we are going to add a new tab to our build. So let's actually do that again. We need to package the plugin and see if we can reload it again. Okay, so reload. Okay, so it should be reloaded now, and let's see. So there is a build, and there is a new tab, echo report, and if we go there, no content to display. Maybe the message did not arrive. So let's run it again. Oh, no compatible agents. That's interesting. Oh, the agent is restarting, that's why. So okay, so it executed, and by the way, those are nice shortcuts here in the drop-down, so I wouldn't have to navigate to the build. I can just navigate to the tab right away, echo report. This is my message, exactly what I have specified in my configuration. So what happened here is that On the server side, we have created the configuration that takes in the message as a parameter. Then it executes on the agent side, producing a text file with the same message. Then this text file is transferred as an artifact. We can check the artifacts, right? Echo.txt. So if we open that one, we can see this is the message inside that file. So this artifact is transferred back to the server where we can display it in a tab, right? That's pretty much it. If you want to check the sources of this plugin that I was just creating, I have it on the GitHub account already. So GitHub, there's TeamCity Echo plugin. So there's like the same, pretty much the same structure and the same code that I have just written in my project. And once you have created this simple one, this simple project, you can proceed exploring the APIs that we have documented, right? We can proceed creating a new custom trigger or version control integration, or creating our custom notifier, and so on. So we are pretty much over time here because of the hiccups with packaging of the plugin, but I hope it was entertaining enough seeing us troubleshooting the problem, and I hope it was useful for you to get started with TeamCity plugins, and I hope some of you will submit to our plugins contest as well. So thank you very much for listening. I don't know if Yegor wants to tell anything.
Yeah, so basically, thanks Anton a lot for this demo. Thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, we'll upload this the recording of this webinar if you want to share it with your colleagues or friends, or watch some parts of it. And yeah, go to the plugin contest page if you would like to register and take part in that, and see you there then. Thanks, and have a good day, everyone.